everyone, I'm Harry, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to look at what might just be the perfect companion for your tube amp. We're looking at the Wazacraft Tube Amp Expander by Boss. So if you want to hear how this sounds in a track as well, I'm going to actually be doing a free All Right Now soundlight with this and my Cornell 4550 Plexi. So that's a good non-master volume amp, and you're going to be able to hear how the Tube Amp Expander actually sounds when it's in the mix as well. So if you'd like to see that, I'll leave a link up in the cards, in the description, and pinned in the comments as soon as the video goes live. So this is Boss's attempt at making an all-in-one utility tool for your tube amp, so you can attenuate, record easily, get consistent lifetimes for front of house, and many more features. So one of the main things that is really appealing about the Boss Tube Amp Expander is the fact that we have a reactive load with attenuation built in. So the reactive load is really cool because we have a resonance and a presence control. So instead of them building the reactive load to be tailored to one specific tube amp, these little combinations allow you to tailor the reactive load in the Tube Amp Expander to your specific amp. So of course, because they have 4 positions on each, we can get up to 16 different combinations, but there are some recommended settings on the top of the unit for classic amps, say like a Marshall stack, a Tweed Deluxe combo, a Deluxe Reverb combo, a Diamond amp, which would be like a 2-rock Dumble, or even like a twin reverb 2x12 thing, and so on. And of course, you can load your own impulse responses into the Tube Amp Expander as well. So the way the attenuation works in this is kind of different than what you would think, but it allows you to get some really cool features out of it as well. So the Tube Amp Expander soaks up all of your signal from your tube amp and then reamps it through a 100-watt Class AB power section. The main benefit of this is that it allows you to attenuate wherever you want, but also boost quiet amps. Say if you have like a 5-watt combo, you can actually boost it up so it's more like a 100-watt. And then, of course, because it's soaking it all up, you can actually place effects after. Just like if you had an older amp and you wanted to have like an effects loop, so you could have your delay and reverb going on in there. And there's also built-in delay and reverb into the unit as well. So as you can see on the front of the unit, we have an overall speaker out, which will either attenuate or boost depending on the wattage of your amp. We have a resonance control that goes from low, low, mid, mid, high, and high. And then we have a presence control that goes low, low, mid, high, and high. Like I said, there's different combinations for different types of amps that they recommend, but you can really just tweak these to your liking and see what you like best. There's also a 10-way rig switch, so you can get your favorite impulse responses, effects, and everything like that, and save them to the rigs in the Tube Amp Expander, which is really cool. We have 4 little buttons on the front that allow you to engage the effects loop, the effects in the amp like the delay. We also have a solo/EQ button, which allows you to say, if you wanted to EQ in like a solo boost, which was a bit mid-heavy and shelved off a bit at the bottom end, you could save that into your rig preset or just into the Tube Amp Expander and engage that as well. And then there's also an amp control, which will allow you to plug in your amp via MIDI and have the MIDI change channels in your amp if possible as well. And then there's a volume pot for the line out and for the headphone jack as well. So on the back of the unit, there's a bunch of different ins and outs. So we have the amp input where you would connect your tube amp, and we can go from 4 to 8 to 16 ohms. And then we have a 3-way wattage switch as well, which just tailors the input level of the Tube Amp Expander. So we can either have 10 watts for low wattage amps, 50 watts, or 100 watts. There's also a headphone out jack for silent practicing at home. There's a front of house mono output and a line out stereo right and left output as well. This is killer that they're both XLR instead of 1/4 inch. It just saves you having to mess about with adapters and everything like that. So as I previously mentioned, there's also an effects loop, so you can connect some of your favorite effects and put them in the loop. So it acts just like your old non-master volume amp has an effects loop, say if you're running it really dirty, or if you just have an amp that doesn't have an effects loop, you can use this to do the job. There's MIDI control for different presets of tones and amp control for different channel switching options. You can actually connect the GAFC foot switch to the Tube Amp Expander, which allows you to change different rigs, engage the reverb, tap in a delay, engage the solo EQ, and engage the amp control. The Tube Amp Expander actually comes with these little kind of like vinyl stickers that you place onto the GAFC, so you can see exactly what you're doing and everything like that. You can actually also plug in 2 expression pedals into the GAFC. One will record the pre-volume and one will record the overall output of the speaker and the line out level as well, which is really killer. You can also connect just a normal foot switch. I think it's like the FS6 or FS7, which will allow you to turn the effects loop on and off as well. There's also a USB out, which allows you to connect it to your computer so you can access the editor. And the really cool thing about this is that you can actually record with just the Tube Amp Expander. You don't have to actually have an interface. It will work as an interface by itself, running straight into your computer with USB, which is really killer. And that's the way I'm going to record the separate amps that we look at further on. So the first thing we're actually going to do in this demo is we're going to check out how the attenuation attenuation works and the effects work going into an actual speaker. So I'm just micing the speaker with a Lewitt MTP 440 dynamic microphone, and we just got the old 70s Marshall JMP with no effects loop or anything like that running into the tube amp expander. Then after we've done that, we're going to check it out with a couple of different classic amps, and just on the resonance and the presence controls, I'm just going to use the recommended settings. So we're actually going to check it out with a Tweed style amp. For that, I'm using the Cornell Romany Pro, which is a killer Tweed style amp. Then we're going to check it out with a Deluxe Reverb 65 Reissue by Fender, and then with my old Marshall JMP 2203 circuit as well. We're going to check out the editor and check out all the different things like the different mics and everything. In version 2, they actually updated it so you could have 32 different impulse responses of your own instead of the standard 4. And then they also added a ribbon mic and some ribbon mic and dynamic mic blends. So it's like a Royer 121 and an SM57. I think we have A, B, and C. Then they also added 2 more rooms to it as well. So before we had an anechoic chamber, which is just dead flat. We had a small room and a big room, but now we have mid-room A and mid-room B. So when we're checking out the Tweed Deluxe, Deluxe Reverb, and the Marshall straight into the tube amp expander and then straight into the computer, I was using a spring reverb on all 3 amps and a simple analog delay on all 3 amps as well. And then the room mic was just set to the mid-room A on all of that. But when we look in the editor, we're going to go really in depth and check out all the different mic combinations just with the Marshall JMP and the different stuff like that. So the guitar I'm using is my 1958 Reissue Les Paul with Monty's low output PAF humbucking pickups. That's going straight into the Marshall JMP, then into the tube amp expander, and then from the speaker out into the Celestion G12M 65 creamback speaker being recorded by the Lewitt MTP 440 dynamic microphone, which is kind of like an SM57 with a little bit more bass. So if we first check out the different attenuation levels, maybe have a quick tweak of the resonance and the presence controls, and then we'll check out how the onboard reverb and delay sound going into the speaker as well. So now we're going to check out how my Tweed Romany Pro by Cornell amp sounds going straight into the Wazacraft tube amp expander, then straight into my computer, using it as like an interface. I've got the resonance and presence controls just how they recommended on the top of the unit, so let's check out how that sounds as well. So again, for the delay that I engaged, we've just got a simple analog delay. For the reverb, we've just got a simple spring reverb, and then the room mic is just on mid-room A. And the impulse response mic blend I'm using is mic blend A, which is a Royal 121 and 57. Okay, so now we're going to check out how a 65 Reissue Deluxe Reverb sounds, going straight into the Tube Amp Expander and then straight into my computer and using the Tube Amp Expander as an interface. So again, for the delay that I engaged, we've just got a simple analog delay. For the reverb, we've just got a simple spring reverb. And then the room mic is just on mid-room A. And the impulse response mic blend I'm using is mic blend A, which is a Royal 121 and 57. You'll hear me kick on an overdrive pedal. For that, I'm just using the Greer Lightspeed, just so we can see how it sounds like if you were using the amp with pedals like most people would. Okay, so now we're going to check out my old 70s Marshall JMP running straight into the Wazacraft tube amp expander. Again, I've got the resonance and presence controls in the recommended settings. The impulse response I'm using is my Blend A, which is like a Royal 121 and an SM57. The reverb I'm using is just a spring reverb. The delay I'm using is just an analog delay, and then the room mic is mid-room A. we have it. That was a look at the Waza Tube Amp Expander by Boss. Kind of the perfect tool for many different applications for your tube amp. You can attenuate, you've got a great reactive load, you can record straight into your computer easy with loads of different impulse responses, your own impulse responses if you want. You can literally use it as an interface, so you don't even have to buy an interface to record. It's a great live tool, so you can have all your favorite rigs and presets of sounds like that straight to front of house, which is much more consistent than miking up. Being able to turn awkward amps that are vintage, non-master volume into having an effects loop. You can even control the onboard effects like the delay and reverb with a foot controller. There's so many cool different things in this unit that I think everyone will be able to find something that benefits them greatly. So if you like that demo video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and hit the little bell notification for me as well. It really does help me out a lot, and that way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. So there's going to be affiliate links in the description to all the gear I used in this video and to record my videos. These do help support the channel out further, so I'd really appreciate if you go and check them out. Other than that, go onto my channel, check out some of my playlists. I have plenty more lessons, covers, gear demos, how to sound like videos, and anything guitar related. As always, I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.